What the hell is going on in southern Florida? The new kid stars Shannon Presby, Lori Loughlin, James Spader, Eric Stoltz, and is directed by Sean S. Cunningham. What's up, guys? Welcome to another review. This is a Patreon requested review for Jeffrey Mooseman. If you are of a certain tier on my Patreon page, then you can request a review like Jeffrey. But Jeffrey requested a movie that I had never heard of before called The New Kids. And I'm a big fan of like 80s comedies, dramas. This isn't really a comedy. It's more of like a thriller, actually. But you know, there's some heavy hitters in this movie like James Spader, Eric Stoltz, Lori Loughlin. But one thing that really threw me for a loop was this was directed by Sean Cunningham, who directed the first Friday the 13th. Before I even watched this thing, I was already interested. Like, wow, how have I never heard of this movie? And after watching it, it's, you know, even more surprisingly, it's actually pretty decent. So, first, quick plot synopsis. At the beginning of this movie, our main characters, Lauren and Abby, played by Shannon Presby and Lori Loughlin. Their parents, one played by Tom Atkins. If you start watching this movie, do not get up, go to the bathroom, don't get anything, sit down, because you will miss Tom Atkins in this movie. He is literally in this movie for like all of 3 minutes, and a minute and a half of that is a montage, and it's a really silly montage. But their parents die in a car accident, so they end up going to their uncle's who lives in southern Florida, and he's got this amusement park that's not doing that well financially, and it's obvious why it's not doing that well, because it's called Santaland, and it's supposed to run year-round. What the hell is he thinking? Pretty stupid. I don't know why they called this amusement park Santaland, because it's not open just in Christmas. But anyway, I digress. He's wanting to get the business up and running, so he's got to get the electrical system on, get the lights on, so that way they can operate at night. But once our main characters get down there, they run into all these issues with these high school douchebag punk kids. You would not believe how, I actually would believe it, because they're ran by James Spader. If we all know, James Spader always plays the ultimate bully in every movie in the 80s. I'd say like 95% of the stuff the guy did, even now, he always plays kind of a bad guy. Even in The Office, he was a jerk. But he does it so well, and he is a really shining part of this movie. And he's trying to pull off a southern accent. Doesn't do that great at it, but who cares? But the lengths these guys go through to make these two kids, whose parents died, by the way, a living hell, is almost laughable. Like, are there kids that are that mean? I guess there are, but they are just completely horrible. And the whole thing starts because two of them had a bet that they could.
I can get it. Says who? Says me and $50.
Me too, I can get her. Fuck her black and blue.
Put a little money on a give. Who can pop that little cherry?
Basically have sex with Abby. That is what starts this whole thing. And Abby's brother, Lauren, you know, takes matters into his own hands. He defends his sister, but they will not let up. And the violence just gets so crazy throughout this whole movie, and you're just shocked at what you're seeing, actually. Now, also, I highlighted this earlier. There are some memorable characters in this. Eric Stoltz did this movie, and I was looking at when this came out. It came out in '85, which I thought was pretty interesting, because Eric Stoltz did like 2/3 of Back to the Future in '85. And so this must have been the movie he either did before or after that. But he's really kind of wasted in this movie. He doesn't have much to do at all. He's in there for a few scenes. You know, he's kind of the love interest of Abby. But you know, he doesn't even really like stand up for her. It's all her brother that's, you know, doing all the heavy lifting, and he does a great job, actually. Her brother Lauren is played by Shannon Presby. This was his last movie, actually, back in '85. He just quit acting. I guess kind of like the guy did from 16 Candles. Yeah, he just quit acting, but he does a great job in this, actually. You really like him as a character, because he's a badass. He stands up for his sister, and he doesn't take any shit. And he just tells these guys, hey, enough is enough. Let us go on with our lives. But of course they don't. I was actually getting vibes from like Savage Streets. I just reviewed that one not too long ago, and that has an even worse gang of assholes. But these guys, you know, by the end of this movie, they all have shotguns, and they're like shooting at this young group of kids. It's crazy to me that they're wanting to kill these kids whose parents just died, who they don't even know because the girl will not go out with them. It's funny how like these horrible things can result from just this little spark of an incident. And that does happen actually in real life, so I guess I'll cut them some slack for that. But you know, talking about like Sean Cunningham too, it's nice to see some of his other work, because outside of Friday the 13th, I don't think I ever seen too many of Sean Cunningham's movies. I know he mostly does like producing, like he did Last House on the Left, but he's actually a pretty capable director. He does a good job in this movie. He does a good job directing this movie, handling the characters, and really, you know, in the end, keeping you invested in what's going on. You know, this flies by pretty quick, actually. It's got a really satisfying third act at the amusement park. And, you know, that's a bonus too. I like movies with amusement parks, like Zombieland. You know, that's a fun portion of this movie, actually, though. So, Jeffrey Mooseman, thank you for recommending this one to me. I actually had a good time with it. As far as any cons, I can see why it doesn't like stick out among the pack. There's so many greats from the 80s in this genre. And this one, I don't want to say it plays it safe, but there's just something about it that kind of sets it back from the other movies, I guess. And it could all come down to the marketing, actually. Sometimes the marketing's just not there, and so nobody knows about the movie. But overall, I actually dug this. I'll give it a high humdrum. Oh, and before I check out, by the way, the writer of this was Stephen Gyllenhaal, who is the father of Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal. I found that interesting. I like that stuff. Anyway, guys, have you seen the new kids? Let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays, we do Free For All Fridays. If you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.